What's up, fool? What's up, fool podcast? Welcome to the What's Up, Fool podcast. We got Rodrigo Torres right here.
What's up?
And Martin Moreno, co-host of the year over here.
What's up, bro?
I've been throwing my extra co-host.
Give me an extra one.
What's up, people? We have a lot of things to say. First of all, Martin Moreno is here because he's promoting his show coming up. When, Martin?
January 4th. January 4th, 2020. So that's 420. 420 over in New Jersey.
Damn.
Morris Plains, New Jersey. And then the 31st for New Year's. Dude, all this is right around the corner, Felipe. The 31st for New Year's, I'll be in Iowa at the First Avenue Club. And the 2nd, I will be in Chicago. And you can get all those tickets at martinmoreno.com.
Where are you going to be, Rodrigo?
I'm going to be at La Cura tonight.
La Cura tonight.
In, Boyle Heights.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be there too.
Paramount Theater, right?
Yeah, the Paramount
Yeah,
Theater.
the guy from Alex Caramboa from New York is going to be there. He just posted it up, the vegan guy.
I don't think that's his name.
Carabano.
Carabano or something like that.
Carabano. So that's why I'm vegan, because I get all the vegan chicks in New York. You know, they're dumb. They don't know.
Well, Caramboa sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds like a pool game.
Caramboa.
Hey, Caramboa.
Él juega carambola.
No,
Can't even find him now.
Tiene cara de bola. What's up, fool? I got some big news, ladies and
Alex
gentlemen.
Carabano.
Some big ass news, ladies and gentlemen. This Friday at 10 a.m., if you're listening to this on Friday or you're watching this live on YouTube right now, what's up? We're here at 10 a.m. Tickets will go on sale for the Observatory Theater Netflix special filming that's going to take place January 27. 2 shows, one in English, one in English. 2 shows in English on January 27 on Netflix taping in Santa Ana, California.
2 shows on Monday the 27th in English.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
And
You
then
could edit this out, you know.
no, we can't.
January 28th.
It's
The next day, I'm doing 2 Spanish shows in the same spot. So the first night is 2 English shows. The second night, 2 Spanish shows. Limited seating for the Spanish show because we don't even know how many people are going to show up.
limited seating for all the shows.
Yeah.
Because there are only, I think,
We
500
got to make room for 2
English ones.
cranes, eh?
Yeah, and then the Spanish ones have tables, so I think there's less than 200 or maybe 250 at that show.
What's up, fool? Tickets on sale Friday
Gonna sell it
at
fast.
FelipeWorld.com/tour. FelipeWorld.com/tour. Napa, California. That's this Saturday, okay? Back to business. This Saturday, Napa, California.
That's this Friday.
This Friday, November 22nd at the Uptown Theater. Seattle, Washington, this Saturday, November 23rd at the Neptune Theater. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, November 29th through December 1st. Pittsburgh Improv. Man, anybody out there, man, who's planning on going to a Steeler game, and if you ain't doing shit on Saturday, bro, I'll hook you up with tickets. Grand Prairie, Texas. Grand Prairie, December 6th at the Verizon Theater with Marlon Wayans, D. Ray Davis, Coco Brown, Face on Love, plus me, Felipe Esparza, mixing it up over there, making sure the show is diverse by throwing me on there. Portland, Oregon, December 13th. That's my wedding anniversary, actually, ladies and gentlemen. I will be there performing at the Revolution Hall. I've been there many times, and many more dates. Check them out at FelipeWorld.com. Now, Napa, if you're wondering who's going to be on the show, it's going to be the return of Martin Rizzo and Rachel Wolfson. Seattle, we have Stoner Rob. That's right. He's showing up with a pound of weed. I don't know why this guy showed up with a pound. Are we really going to smoke that much?
That's what you need to get high off his weed.
He showed up a lot. You always wonder, man, when people say they're going to smoke you out and they show up like with too much. Dude, I'm only here an hour.
Yeah, that's a lot of bud, bro. I mean, if it's good bud, you don't need a pound of pinche weed.
Oh, they won't show up with no pound if it was good weed, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Felipe, congratulations, bro. Spanish and English.
Bro, I've been practicing. I didn't even know it's been that long, but I got the you know, your what you did last year on Facebook, and I saw that I opened up for a Mexican comedian in San Diego. I was one of her openers. I forgot her name, but I got it right here. I remember that lady was recovering from cancer. She was funny, man. Like, bro, I was a rookie, bro, last year, bro. Like, ¿qué dices, cabrón? Bro, everything was all smashed. Was English and Spanish.
Spanglish.
Spangloshoso, bro. Mira, anoche miré un homeless. What's up, fools? Yeah, man. Thank you for the congratulations,
No, that's
man.
badass. Is that the first time anybody's done Spanish and English on a special?
A lo mejor vio Santiago. I don't know. No.
We don't know. We think so.
I think so, bro. Oh, I mean, I haven't heard of anybody.
I think it's and I think it's the first Spanish special from an American comic. You know what I mean? Like Paul recorded one, but I don't think it aired anywhere years ago.
Paul Rodriguez.
In Puerto Rico for HBO years ago. And there was a guy, a comedian, but he never did he did a half-hour Comedy Central special, but he never did it in Spanish, even though he does Spanish comedy. Bill Santiago.
Yeah. I remember that name.
Remember he had that one joke of Hito, like kind of like Latino Seinfeld up there. He had a joke. He was very sarcastic. He would have a joke where he say, "Any Latinos over there? None." And then the white boy would say, "Thank God." And he go, "Thank God." Thank God. It's funny. I was talking to Larry Bubbles Brown, and he tell these stories. I don't want to talk bad about him, but Larry Bubbles Brown said, "Yeah, he showed up one time in a headline up north. Got a waitress pregnant.
Damn!
Oh my God, that's not my baby.
Oh my God!
Yeah, they got. Oh yeah, they got him for child support and everything. Oh my God!
Sending that envelope once a month.
Tommy, pay me in cash."
So a year ago you started. Now you're recording a freaking special. That's fucking badass, bro.
It took a long time, but I had the help of the Fearless crew. I had the help of Rodrigo, throwing the little Spanish word in there. Martin, Joel from Tijuana, Mexico, from TJ. That fool transcribed the whole thing in Spanish, my whole set one time, a couple of times.
Well, he did he knew what you were already saying, and
he knew what I was saying.
Like fix a few things here and there, and
The hardest part was to think, bro, to think in Spanish, because I already had I had like some jokes that were really translatable and that were funny. But then there's some that just did not play, man, like play on words and puns. But the stuff I talk about, abuse and all that, everything with abuse kills in Spanish, bro. Because nobody talks about child abuse, so I talk about that.
Domestic violence.
Nobody talks about feelings in Spanish, so I talk about that, and it resonates with the audience.
Hey, it's a brand new thing out there. There's not a whole lot of vatos out there doing it, so congratulations.
Yeah, man.
You've been doing Spanish comedy as well, Martin, right?
Yeah, I've been trying a little Spanish here and there, bro. I've been, working with Peter Loaiza. You guys know Peter.
Yeah. Sunday we were.
We're doing a show. We did a show with him too, and we're gonna do a show with him in Victory.
Victorville,
nice.
In
Victorville.
December. Yeah. AJ.
I'm doing something with him and Puras Fallas out in Northern California, December 22nd, actually.
Hey man, Mexican comedians be having some wild names, huh? Well, let me show them with wrestling mask.
Oh yeah.
Or like the dude Carlos Baltasara with a big old glasses.
Vallarta. Yeah.
And then the other guy with a clown, right?
The clown.
Con payaso, bro.
Payaso.
He's got a whole clown suit on, bro.
Chupitos.
Dude, I saw this dude.
It's like everybody in Mexico is like a Larry the Cable guy type of comic.
A lot of characters.
But they're evolving at this point.
Yeah, but the ones that are evolving are blowing up.
Yeah.
The ones that are doing more of a monologue are blowing up. Yeah, 100%.
Or stories, are just not.
But I almost think Carlos do a character. I don't think he walks around the streets like that.
That's true.
Bro, have you seen that fool without the glasses? Cara de perro, bro. Oh my God, dog.
You know what? That's what I love about you, bro. Is you do not censor dick, bro. You fucking cara de perro, bro. That motherfucker looks like a dog.
Dog.
Fine dog.
He's not gonna be doing movies with no glasses on, bro. With no glasses off. But I was like, God damn, bro.
Give me some ojitos, dog.
He won't give me no ojitos, bro. Tiene cara de the guy that sells fucking leche de burro on the streets, bro. Like he looks like he walks around with little tiny cups selling milking goats, bro, on a bridge.
Where did you see his face? Because I've never seen him without the glasses.
I googled it and he went, whoa.
It's out there.
It's out there, bro.
Under la pinches fucking Siwanaba, bro.
Eesh. Hey, I'm not guapo either, but I don't hide it.
I embrace my fairness.
I embrace it, bro. Bro, when we went to Tijuana, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Everybody talks about we got good tacos here, like we got good tacos here in Mexico and here in the United States. Rodrigo, man, and that guy Joel, they took us to the fucking taco shops, bro.
But you're vegan,
no,
though,
I watch them eat.
Oh, okay. Nice.
He asked him how it tastes.
But everybody was saying how good it was, and I started looking down the streets, and he goes, something missing here. And then a pet boo showed up with big old boobs, a stranded
like
dog.
She just given birth. Yeah.
You see?
Poor baby.
Is that his face?
That's Martin Moreno right here, man.
Nice. You know what, bro? I'm not pretty either, but I feel sexy as fuck lately. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the hell it is. I just me siento sexy, cabrón.
Míralo. Quitaira.
Damn. Yeah, I'd wear glasses too, homie.
Cara de
He said it's like seeing a picture of El Buki without a beard.
Yeah, man. For real, man, they don't take you seriously like that with that face, dog, with those glasses, especially coming out with those jokes. Like, it look like otro indio con chistes, you know?
Not otro indio con chistes.
For real, dog. Like, you gotta find a niche. Like me, I got the long hair, bro.
Right.
I got the long hair. I got the wildness. You know, that works for me. Because I know that has to be a character, like Larry the Cable Guy.
Something that makes you stand out and be memorable. I mean, when I first started comedy, I had a fucking fade and a leather jacket, which
and,
every
don't forget
monkey...
the Raider poncho.
And the Raider punch. But you know, but what's crazy is that everybody and their mother had a fade and a leather jacket. You just blend in and you look like every other motherfucker out there. You know, that's why when Gabe started using the Hawaiian shirt, that shit popped. When you started growing your hair, that shit popped. I grew my fucking hair, and now people fucking like, hey, that's fucking Pinche Martin right there. If you just blend in with the whole fucking crowd, you're just gonna look like this vato right here with the leather jacket and a fade.
It's a parking lot killer look.
You look like every fucking comedian in '99, homie.
It's the parking lot killer right here, bro. Chris Martinez.
With the motorcycle jacket and no motorcycle?
Right.
Even Pops had a leather jacket, bro.
Even Pops had a leather. Everybody, bro. It looked like they killed 10 cows for all the fucking comics that showed up to Wild Coyote, homie.
Bro, how about when comedian Bernardo, him and the lady showed up with leather jackets and leather hats?
Bernardo, the Puerto Rican Bernardo.
Yeah.
God, what's he up to, bro?
He was working at the Bray Improv a couple
sound
years
guy.
ago.
Oh, shit. Good for him.
He's still working on cars. I think he works in Pasadena at some dealership.
So him and his lady had a leather jacket.
For real, bro. They showed up like what's his name? Big Daddy Kane.
Dude, I put a leather jacket on Hooter when he was 12, bro.
What's up, fool, man? Shout out to myself. What up, people? Sorry about last week, man. We didn't have no podcast, man. My daughter flew in from Sweden, and she's been hanging out for 2 weeks. I got to meet her and my grandson, bro. So we were all hanging out. If I run into fucking Joker, bro. The lost merch guy for fucking
Slaughter,
bro. I was more excited to see him, bro.
Than he was to see
I was so excited. I was looking at him like he was like a relic, bro. Like
a blast from the past.
You know, people talk about, you know, Slaughter, and to see him there, bro, and he looked like he's not ready to be slaughtered, bro.
Where were we? We were at like Cheesecake Factory. Where was that?
Gladstone's?
No, what was it? God damn.
Yard House, man.
Yeah. He was just like this guy out of place there with all these suburban people and veterans.
Bro, that fool was he was the closest I had to a brother growing up, bro. Like when I was a teenager and shit. No, seriously.
So
like,
Willie, bro.
Bro.
Big brother.
I'm saying growing up, homie. I mean, I met Willie when I was fucking ya estaba peludo, bro. I was fucking 30 something. But yeah, Jesus, Joker, dude, freaking went to high school together. I remember the first time we went to the mall. That motherfucker pulled me to the side, bro. We took the bus out to the mall, and he pulled me to the side, and we didn't know each other that well. And he goes,
"Shoplifting."
No, that's what he said. He goes, "Hey, bro, you know they have cameras here, right?" And I'm like, What are you talking about? He goes, yeah, they're like, whatever you do, they'll see you. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? He goes, well, just in case you want to steal something, they'll probably catch us. Like, motherfucker, I don't steal. And he's like, well, I don't know. I just had to make sure because I don't want to get fucking busted. I'm like, this motherfucker.
He'll give you up.
That was the first time we hung out, man. He was fucking, he was always the guy that did the right thing, you know? He like,
He's a teacher, right?
He's a teacher. He had every opportunity to be a fuck up, but out of everybody, he had his shit more together than everybody. Graduated on time, you know, did his fucking homework and never went to the ditching parties. Fucking.
You guys had a comedy troupe, right?
He was the good guy. Yeah, we used to do sketches, bro. We used to do fucking sketches, bro. Like fucking, like we just used to.
What to do with sketch group, bro?
We used to have a camera, like you remember those big ass fucking cameras you put on your shoulder and like and you do it had the VHS tape inside it.
Dog.
Yeah, like a big ass camcorder.
Mondo brought that shit to the Christmas party, bro. I thought he was gonna hit somebody with it.
And we used to record fucking shit, bro. We used to just do sketches. We'd pretend we were like fucking immigrants from Cuba, stuck in a fucking refugee center. We'd fucking pretend we were fucking. I played a gay barber, so stereotypical and fucking and just complete like shit that would get me protested if it came out. You know what I'm saying? Just like over the top crazy shit. He was Wante Love. You know, he was playing a character named Wante because he had a glove and he called it Wante. It's just fucking stupid ass shit.
Where you at perform at?
In my fucking living room, dog.
Oh, my sister made love.
My mom, man.
Moms.
She sat there like Mrs. Fleck.
Me a primacha over here to watch this fucking comedy, raza.
Oh my
living
God.
out the life of the Joker.
That was before. That was before.
The Joker, bro.
That was before I ever did, before I did comedy, bro. I did all that. We did freaking. We
What
did a bunch
inspired
of.
you to do that?
to
Like
do
a
the-
TV
the
show that you had
sketches?
seen? Like
I just
Destiny.
wanted,
Souls
dude.
or
I just,
something like that?
you know what? I just wanted to do like I thought I was funny, and my homie had a camera, and I'm like, hey, fuck it, let's start filming shit, bro. And we just started fucking filming shit.
Who gave him the name Joker?
Dude, he was Joker when I met him. I'm guessing fucking his homies did. You know, how you doing, bro? Nobody's in.
What's up, fool? We have a guest here, a medium.
Right.
He is a medium too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Psychic medium, right? That's your title?
Psychic medium, yeah.
Psychic?
Yeah, psychic medium, yeah.
And you do stand-up comedy too.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I've done stuff with actually a good friend of yours with Momo Rodriguez and stuff like that. So we did the, what do you call it, the Brea Improv.
Momo's
yeah, he
good,
did
man.
the Paragordo podcast.
Yeah,
right?
we did that.
The
so-
actual show, or you guys snuck into a show?
Oh yeah, man, he's known for sneaking into everything. To
Yeah,
be
we
quite
talked
honest,
about
yeah.
that.
But yeah, I do a bunch of shows and stuff like that, and so we're planning to kind of do something differently about like going to the improvs and doing comedy because most of the time what I do, I talk to the dead for a living. That's like my
So
main
you
thing.
do contact
You
the
do
dead.
talk
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
dead.
No, I
we were
do.
wondering
Yeah.
exactly how much.
It's funny.
Yeah.
A lot of comedy shows, you know, there's your stand-up comedians, you know, then there's magicians, you know, who do stand-up. But there's also hypnotists, right?
Yes, there's a lot of
And
hypnotists.
then
Mentalists.
And then mentalists, yeah. But then also there's that comedian lady that we brought here.
Oh, she's
Rontowski?
yeah, Karen Rontowski. She does. She reads tarot cards and she does psychic readings.
On
Oh,
stage.
okay.
And and she
Ghost hunting.
she does not ghost hunting, but she does like objects.
Oh,
that have a
psychometry.
history,
Yeah.
Psychometry.
Yeah, and she'll find us the story behind it basically, and she'll tell
When
you.
I first started doing stand-up comedy, before Willie and the Devil, Jeff Garcia, were doing Wild Coyotes, it was Ron, some gay dude, and he was whack, right? And he's the only book comedian from the Comedy Store that were like white. And one of the ladies that was there, she was funny, but she was like a psychic reader, but she did numbers.
Okay, numerology.
Numerology, like you think of a number, and then she's like, and you're like, wow.
But they also do like they tell you stuff about like the day
numerology,
you're
yeah.
born, right? The number that a month that you were born and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
so you have like a
That shit.
personality number, and then you have a master number, and then an add to number. All these numbers represent certain things. So when you break those down, it kind of shows like your soul cycle where you're at. So it's interesting because like I wasn't a big believer in psychics or mediums at all whatsoever. Like I wasn't. I was watching certain television shows like Sally Jesse Raphael, Jenny Jones, and all these psychics that were on television. I'm like, what a crock of shit these people are, like telling what to say and what to do.
Telling me.
And that's what I really thought. Yeah, because I don't really believe in it, Mike. I come with a healthy skepticism, and I really don't want to believe everything. I like to debunk things or try to analyze things of like, are people actually really doing this, or they're kind of like reading off emotions? Are they reading off like things that they already know about people? Is it cue
like
cards?
John Edwards and all that stuff,
So all that stuff was like, how do I like make the trust there? So it's about me trusting myself, but trusting the information that I was receiving. So if it was from spirit, if it was something psychically around someone's personal life, I would just tell like it is. My journey started in a very unique way. Like I didn't see spirit, I didn't feel spirit. Again, I was about researching and trying to develop this and trying to figure it out.
So it's more technical for you then, rather than a feeling sort of thing?
Absolutely. And it's a feeling now because it's about like what I sense or what I pick up on a person. So when I do large audience events, I can go like, okay, lady in 50th row, stand up. I got like your brother here who's passed over. Like it's that specific. It's not just who's
That's
like,
very specific.
Yeah,
Bro.
And it's actually like say they pass with a triple bypass and they like. And there's people that will bring cliche or fake stuff.
Funny man, you ever heard of Amazing Jonathan?
Yes.
He goes like this. There's a lady right there. You, ma'am, stand up. Oh. You graduated in 1985. You have a brother named Jonathan. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my sister. I fucking died, bro.
Hilarious.
I died, dog. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my sister Jane. Fucking
funny.
died, dog. Amazing Jonathan, dog.
But you're right.
You know that's funny, dude.
Yeah, no. I mean, you have to have a sense of humor with this work. I mean, it's
You
very.
find humor? Are you writing stuff in between?
Yeah, like I don't do a lot of stand up, but it's something that people want me to bring on to because like I think it's more humorous with the work that I do because our loved ones will bring humorous things, personal things that are very embarrassing, and I will talk about it live on a show or
Dude,
whatever comes through.
You guys do have a reputation for being charlatans.
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah,
just
for
being
sure.
freaking-
Charlatan,
Yeah. Oh yeah, oh for sure.
No, so
hobby.
there's a lot of skepticism that
Charlatan,
goes
for
with it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And so it's some people it's hard for people to take you seriously. and
Oh,
shit,
absolutely.
right? Now, when you say you communicate with people that are passed over, when they talk to you, is it like they're saying something to you and then they say, hey, say this to the person? Or, because I know a lot of people that are mediums will sit there and be like freaking like, they'll start talking almost like, they'll start talking through them. They become the vessel that they...
The channel.
The channeler,
right.
correct.
Absolutely.
And so then they just
So
start...
Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost.
Yeah, that's a great example.
So
She's a
which
medium,
kind
yeah.
do you do?
So I do more the mediumship, which is mental mediumship. So I will pick up the information that's coming through. So when I'm communicating with a spirit, I actually hear my own thought, and they show me symbols, and everything's out of my frame of reference. So if I see, say, an apple, could be someone that works with computers, could be someone that loves, someone whose religion, Adam and Eve. So it's my frame of reference. Or two, it could be the person's, loved one loved baking apple pie. So I can totally misinterpret the information, but I'll deliver that information. But also I will feel the information of how they passed over. So if they're shot in the head, I will feel pressure in my head. If it's a triple bypass, I will feel like I have something in my chest. If it was emphysema, I'll feel water in my lungs. So there's weird feelings that I'll get that my body, I have to resonate with those feelings that's coming through.
Dude, that's intense because like I have old albums of preachers from back in the 1960s and things where they're like performing, and it's a performance in front of like thousands of people, and these dudes will be like, as I was walking here today, the Spirit of the Lord came to me and he came on my shoulder and he said to me, there's somebody here and his name starts with the letter F, and he's named after a country, and your name is France. And then somebody will be like, yeah. He's like, yeah.
My name is Francis.
And so
they call me Pancho.
I'd be one of those people in the audience. Yeah.
and so then this guy was super specific to the point where it was like almost ridiculous. Like there's no way in fuck this is happening to this degree, and so it's like super over the fucking top.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you listen to it today, back in the day, it was probably amazing.
Right. Absolutely.
Now when you look at it with freaking 2019 eyes or listen with 2019 ears rather, you're like, is this fucking monkey serious?
Right.
Like this is fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
How
yeah.
in the and then at the end it's like fucking send $100. This is the 1960s.
And
send
people would do it.
$100 a fucking week, dude. That was fucking way more than what was minimum
made.
wage. But people did it. People sent in
People
the
still
shit.
do it. Peter Popoff late
was
at
just gonna
night.
talk about
he
it.
sells fucking bags of spring water,
Spring
miracle
water.
spring water.
That's right. I forgot
A
about
little
that. He comes on
baggie,
3 in the morning.
This dude with the black hair, the dyed black hair,
you wake up,
and he's like 8
bro,
years
you know,
old.
bro, there's like
I'm telling you, these people fall for it.
there's like redneck people and poor black people talking about, once I bought that water, the next day I woke up and there was $12,000 in my checking account.
For $5,800.
Bitch, you better put that money back.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because that shit ain't yours.
Well, even like with
You better
Pop-Up,
talk to your bank. Well, this is a computer error. Bitch, Papa over here fucking hacking into computers and shit.
Peter Pop-Up.
well, you know, he was like
Did he
broken
read to
down to that
Lenny
scandal,
Pop-Up?
too.
Oh yeah.
And Randy
It's
Savage?
still, but he's still
No.
on
He's
the
still-
air.
yeah.
Felipe
No,
Lenny
these guys are
Pop-Up.
still on the fucking air. They're making it. And you know who the
Alamo
next
guy.
one? You know who
the
the next?
boots.
The next one's gonna be freaking Kanye, bro.
But,
How many times have you been incorrect though?
I don't know because I deliver all the information because I always believe I don't mind being wrong because as long as I deliver the information, it's delivered the right way. So again, I may misinterpret something. I may say, hey, you know, today that you spilled spaghetti on your lap, and you go like, no, it was actually oatmeal. Some people see that as being wrong. You know what I mean? So it just depends on how you interpret that information or how it resonates with you. But I don't think that I wrong. I do really believe that I can misinterpret something. I'll be the first to admit, and I say this at all my events, all interviews, because I will never be 100% right. None of us will be, but we will have these gut feelings where we feel things and sense things. And just like law enforcement officials, like they have a gut feeling or this hunch about a certain case. It's the same thing that I do, but I just work in a different way. Yeah.
Did Epstein kill himself?
That's a whole nother situation.
I don't want to make fun of you, but you remember that guy from Edward Scissorhands, that chubby guy?
Oh, I don't remember the guy.
Scissorhands.
Not Edward
You
Scissorhands.
mean
Beetlejuice.
you mean
Alec
the guy,
Baldwin.
the guy with the southern accent? who's all
No,
like
the chubby
her-
guy. If you
yeah,
want to scare,
her-
if you want to scare somebody, you gotta scare somebody with your fucking sculptures.
Yeah, her artist friend.
Beetlejuice,
yeah.
right? Beetlejuice guy. Right.
Yeah.
He passed away.
That would make more
Also-
sense.
You remind me of the Cholo in
Otho,
Born in the
but
East LA.
it's funny, man. When Beetlejuice, when they summoned Beetlejuice, he came out and he fucked with everybody. Was their what hurts them the most,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like something that will hurt you the most, and she fucked up that lady's sculpture,
sculpture.
Right.
Because she loved the sculpture. And then the guy that was the medium, he put him in plaid.
Yeah.
Because that's
He
how
put him
he-
in because he was
because
such a fashion
He's a
maven.
he's a dandy, you know. He likes to dress
Right.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Beetlejuice is another great movie. Ghost, like all these are very similar to what we do. But if I could say like the best movie that kind of demonstrates mediumship or this work is Ghost, especially that was what in the early '90s.
Fuck yeah, bro. You know what's scary about that
Nick
movie?
Aviles is in that movie.
What was
Yeah.
scary about that movie when they kill you and then those black spirits
Come and get
out.
you.
What are those motherfuckers, bro?
All that bad shit you did.
Right, and some people would call them like demons or like the bad energy, all that stuff that you
shit
deal
is.
with.
do they get you when you're in purgatory?
Purgatory,
Raza.
I think some of us are taught to believe in limbo,
don't
purgatory,
believe in
all that
it.
stuff.
Sure.
I don't believe in that. As
Me neither.
growing
Well,
up
you know,
as
Dead as a doorknob. when
Yeah.
you're
Do you
done.
know why purgatory existed?
Por qué?
No.
So that they could extort families that had money.
money.
It's
I
like,
was
yeah,
just saying,
your
yeah.
loved one's
Right.
here, and you
Good
gotta
one.
pay enough
Right.
to get them out of here. And we'll
Genius.
do
Black
enough.
Cloud.
Fucking,
Yeah.
we'll do enough.
Oh,
if
yeah.
we do some masses for
Oh,
him,
yeah.
then he'll be able to get his
Pay
fucking
us another
heaven
This
point.
guy could rule the world if he goes
light
back
some
in time.
candles. Yeah, it's like all that
Dude,
crap. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: did you grow up Catholic? And I'm saying
For
that
sure.
Okay,
Me
so
too,
now
for sure.
with the
Devout.
Catholics, anybody when you dabble into the freaking medium thing, that's
Sacrilege.
fucking
Dabble, Raza.
brujeria.
Yep.
You know,
You have the cross there, right?
Yeah, because you have a cross.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that blasphemy? Like, is your family like, hey, pinche brujo, cabrón?
That's funny that you say that because they were like that. They weren't big believers at all. My parents were devout Catholics. They went to Catholic school the whole 9 yards. Same thing with me. I started growing up and I started having a different understanding of my Catholicism. I did not know if like this is something I was going to follow. Is like because I always felt there was some sort of feelings or intuitions I was picking up around certain things, and I would know certain things about, like, say, caller ID. I would joke around with my family, like I was caller ID back then. It was about people who would call. I would say, oh, so-and-so's, that's so-and-so that's calling. And it could be someone that we haven't talked to in years or whatever, and sure enough, it's that person. But for my parents, they would say, like, I don't believe in it. I don't talk about this. Then my parents would never talk about like what I did for a living. They would always say, my son's a consultant. He's a consultant. He's a consultant. They would never say that until like I really.
I don't have a son.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah. But it's the
How come it didn't hit a consultant?
Right. And then you get the nosy people, like a consultant for what? It's like for dead people. You know what I mean?
Te voy a decir la verdad, es licenciado.
Abogado de la muerte.
So when did you start having feelings or thinking that this, because you said you watched other people on TV, was that after knowing you had some gift? Or
No.
did you get a feeling and then start looking into it? Like, how did it all go down?
It was more curiosity and skepticism alone that really kind of brought me on this path, because I really want to understand what I was picking up and what I was feeling. Like, was it just like, coincidences? Was I just guessing this information that's coming through? Was I actually picking up information? So for me,
and it's just coming to you.
Yeah, and I did not
about strangers even.
Yeah,
that
strangers
you might walk around.
Oh yeah, I remember one story specifically. I think I was maybe 13, 14 years old, and I remember waiting in line at fast food joint and saying like, oh my God, I see this lady's father standing like right next to her, right behind her, this and that. And like, do I really tell this lady this? And I really tapped on her like as she waited in line. I said, hey, I have your dad's here, and he's telling me this and this and that, and he passed away.
What the
yada
fuck?
yada.
Wow.
Punched you.
Literally, she left and came back.
You could walk up to somebody, man. Someone like you don't know him, but someone like Adam Murray, bro, walks up to somebody like that. Someone with a bald head, dog.
Somebody's
You gotta be
scary.
neat
Right.
to walk
to
up
have
to
hair.
somebody.
You have to have a
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
this
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
Martin,
yeah.
couldn't walk up to somebody. Hey,
He was scared.
I
of
see your
Don't
mom,
get-
man.
don't get on that bus.
So,
No, but-
so she came back into the restaurant.
Yeah,
what
and
happened?
she came back and she thanked me because she goes, I just lost my dad like a month ago. So it was a moment for her to recognize there's something that happened. She didn't know me, and I was a kid, so when stuff like that happens.
You were a
it's just-
kid. How old
yeah,
were you?
I think 13, 14 years
Oh,
old,
that's right,
so
13,
right around that age frame. So the way my career started per se, or my path was, I actually started working with tarot cards from 6th grade to 8th grade and started reading about.
Dude, that's young.
Oh yeah, and
How old?
what's that, about 12,
13,
13?
14,
yeah.
yeah.
So during that time frame, I was reading people around my junior high school. I was telling them like what I saw, what I felt, who was coming through.
You were
and
doing it for lunch tickets, huh?
well, yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, and so for me, I was just like, oh, maybe I'm a good guesser. Maybe I'm just guessing this information. But weeks later, a month later, they said, oh my God, like this person had this situation or has this health issues or this is happening. And so for me, I'm like, I didn't think anything of it. And then my mediumship happened when I was a freshman in high school. My high school teacher, who's a recognized medium in her own right and works with very well-known people, and she told me I had the ability to communicate with the other side. I did not know that. I knew I was able to see auras and colors and feel things off people, but I did not know I was able to talk to the dead per se. So I thought it was just things that were happening. So I developed my abilities on my own and working with them. I didn't take any classes and I didn't go to a school like Harry Potter or whatever. But for me, at age 19, I was signed with a pretty big station, and my career took off.
What station?
Coast 103.5.
Oh, I remember
yeah.
Coast.
Love
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I love songs on Love Songs on the Coast. I was
Yeah.
doing
You
a show
were-
for.
you were you?
Yeah, I was on there for 3.5 years.
You know what the best part about that show, bro?
I'm afraid it's.
was BS, bro, when they go like this. Right
Oh,
now, we
John,
have
right.
Barbara coasting in Santa Barbara right now. She wants
Right.
to send a message to Mike,
Coasting.
who's coasting right now in Rio de Janeiro.
Right,
He wants to send a message. Bitch, he ain't coasting over there.
Right.
He ain't thinking about your ass.
Somebody else.
He ain't thinking about your ass.
That's just
Right.
the white
With-
people Art LeBeau, bro.
Yeah, it is. No, for sure. Yeah, it
No,
is.
bro. His name is Mark Saclariti.
Exactly. Oh my God. I haven't heard that name. Oh my God, I haven't heard that
Damn,
name
you
in a
have a
while.
memory of an elephant, Raza.
This is Mark Saclariti.
He owe you money?
No.
He was like the fucking contemporary Art LeBeau.
Yes,
Oh.
yes,
And he
yes.
was probably sending messages too, man.
That is
Love.
funny.
And he go, we have the song will play. Love keep us all where we belong.
So when you
I love this.
so how do you do
Hilarious.
Caught
that?
him, dog.
So you did this over the radio then?
Yeah, I did.
To caller.
What
yeah, for
time
callers.
did you come out?
And how in the world
from
do
7
you-
to midnight.
And how do you feel?
Every day.
Every Sunday. It was a Sunday night special show from 7 to midnight.
People,
for 3 years.
people who are listening to now right to this show right now, man, there's some good shows that come out on Sunday on radio if you really look out for them.
Oh, yeah, for
There
sure.
was that one guy,
Rodney on
the
the Rock.
Art Bell, what's his name?
Oh, Arbel, yeah, coast to coast.
Bro, Art Bell is. We know who told me about him, Juan Villarreal. And one time I was driving from Lake Tahoe with Paul Rodriguez, and they started playing. And
That's
that shit
the alien
played.
guy?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
alien guy.
yeah, man.
And then there was like Noche de Cocuy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That one was weird,
Yeah.
bro.
There's that
That-
other guy, Phil Hendry. Remember
Phil
that Phil
Hendry.
Hendry show with the weird characters he would do and callers, and that was all fake. It was all
Yeah, I was
comedy.
just saying.
Wow, I
but-
didn't know
that.
that was
Yeah, but he
great.
made, but yeah, he would
But it
make a
was
bit out of it.
so
and
entertaining.
People loved it, but
Yeah.
I think people are always so curious and
They are
fascinated.
very curious.
Yeah, and they want to
They
know
get
like
scared.
Well, I don't think it's nothing to be afraid of, because I think if we grow up in a Catholic background or a religious background, we have that fear of like it's a devil's work, it's taboo, things of that nature. And once my parents realized that this is like not a phase, I've been doing this for well over 16 years. I go like, this is not a phase. This is like what I do for a living. My parents realized like, oh, my son's a medium. He's a psychic now, and I've been very successful with what I've done in my background with my work, and I'm very blessed because I think I came from a small suburban city in Hacienda Heights, California. Didn't come from much. My family didn't come from much, and I stayed grounded from that because I really believe if you connect with people or the audience, they can recognize that but also see some comfort in that as well. So again, things were blessed because my background, really, I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to work in law enforcement, but my career took off with that one radio station. Again, I didn't have a website, a phone number, anything, because I didn't want to do this for a living.
How old were when you started in the coast?
19 and a half.
Oh, wow.
19 and a half.
Nice.
19 and a half. Yeah. And from there, I
s-
went to K-Big, Kiss FM, Hot 92, and then
Had
so
they
on and so
heard
forth.
you or seen you do this before? What made them bring you on?
So
with that?
an email was submitted to one of the
19?
producers to Coast. I did not submit the email because again, I didn't want to do this. I was going to Rio Honda College and taking my classes to be a firefighter.
Good college for a fireman. Fireman
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
way.
it's a big program.
Yeah, it's a big program, lengthy, extensive. So I was doing that, and then the producer ended up calling me my cell number. I'm like, okay, what's this guy? I thought this was a joke, and I hung up, and I did not reply to it. I thought this seemed like, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but I thought
you
this is a fucking joke.
What the
Basically.
fuck you want?
Yeah, right.
Bro,
This guy's kind of
Bro,
strong.
Okay, perfect.
I've been keeping up with the big words, bro.
Ricky and
Charlatans, versatile, dabble, and this motherfucker right here, entrepreneurial over here. Shout out to Bibli,
Bibli with the entrepreneurial.
keeping up with the show, man.
So
Wow, man.
I want to know,
Yeesh.
how do you get a feeling from somebody who calls
My back is
in
sweaty
that
right
you're
now.
not looking at, you're not connecting with, other than hearing their voice?
Right. So everything's based upon on energy. Everything has energy. A table, a mic, everything vibrates in energy. It's like how people who are like deaf or blind, they can actually hear sound, feel or see things in a different way. It's the same thing, but just in a different vibration. So when someone's speaking to me over the phone, many years ago, the way it worked for me is I actually would see a color. So I would have my eyes closed when someone's talking. That color would resonate. Like, okay, if I saw red, I know they're a very grounded person. If I saw orange, it would represent they're very ambitious. Yellow would represent they work in
And
communication.
these colors come from some
From my
other,
reference.
From your
yeah, what it
reference.
means to me.
Okay.
And different people have different references, what these colors
Okay.
represent. But that would kind
But
of
to you,
open.
that's just over time and experience.
Oh, yeah.
knowing- okay.
Because at that time, I did not know what I was receiving or picking up or sensing things of that nature. And I had to interpret that over years. And I'm still building my dictionary over 16 years. So things will always be the same and things may not be the same thing. And I may totally be wrong and misinterpret it, but I always would deliver that information. But for me, the producers brought me into that show in the studio. And when I went there, they said like, oh, where's the medium at? They saw me like this little, shaved head and a little goatee and this and that. And who's this kid, that's going to read for people? And they had me do like 6 readings on spot just to make sure like everything's legit, everything's kosher. That they have people from Kansas, wherever, did the readings. And from there on, they said, oh, we'll see you next week. And I was signed on for 3.5 years. Yeah.
Dude,
and
that's
how it-
freaking
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you go to church now? Are you religious?
I'm not a practicing Catholic, so I would say that, but I still believe in God. I still believe in a higher power. I still do prayer, meditation in all my readings, all my, shows that I do. It's ingrained into my work for sure, but I don't practice it where I go to church, but I practice it in my own way, basically. Yeah.
Now, if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, man, I lost a loved one. I want to reach out." Can you find them, or do they come to you?
I really don't want to know who my clients want to connect with, so I don't do any of my bookings. I don't do any of that stuff. Most of the stuff it's all through into the office. So
it's all cold.
Yeah, it's because I don't want. Because I really believe if I know anything about someone's loved one, like they say, "Oh, I want to talk with my Uncle Joe. He passed away with a heart attack."
That's right, cocksuckers.
Blah blah. And all of a sudden, what happens? It takes
Uncle
away
Joey
the
means
meaning.
something else.
Yeah, because if you know that information, then you already done the job for the medium.
Yeah.
So there's nothing for me to really do since you already validate all that stuff. So
And maybe that's not the person who's coming through the strongest. Maybe there's somebody else.
That is
right?
for sure. Like people want to hear from, when people go to my audience events, like there's large crowds, intimate groups that I do, and people have that VIP person they want to hear from, absolutely positively. And that moment happens where I connect with maybe their dad instead of their mother, or their mother instead of their father, because whatever that relationship was, either whatever it was. They don't want to hear from that person, but I'm like, they need to come through because there's a message that they need to get across that they still need to heal from physically that they haven't allowed themselves to go through. So it's interesting. Yeah.
How would you know, to reach them?
For me, it's through meditation, prayer, chakras. So basically the way the energy works is that once I turn on and meditate, open up, I just kind of do my thing. And so whoever's energy is the strongest, it kind of works that way. So kind of think of it as like, in a very funny way, all you guys are here today, and I tell you it is like mentally or maybe verbally say my name at once. Whoever's voice I hear first and whoever's voice is strongest, that's who I connect with first in an audience event. So kind of think of it that way at any event, and I get pulled to that person. So I go, hey,
do you ever read somebody and go, oh shit, I forgot his name?
Oh yeah. That is like
What, the person coming through about that person?
Oh shit, I forgot his name. I want to be first.
Oh yeah. Well,
Too embarrassed.
Sometimes I'll be given a name about a person who's in the audience. I'm like, who's say Angela or something, and they're like, no, there's not an Angela, there's not this. I go, you sure? There's like an Angela, Angie, there's something other. They go, no.
But there's an
Angela.
And then they realize, oh, my name's Angela.
Wait,
and you know, so they forget.
Nail file here, nail file.
Right.
Now, let me ask you this.
Absolutely.
It's a November now. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead just passed.
We have a guy who passed away right here, bro. Look at. We have Brody Stevens. He passed away.
Right.
Now, Dia de los Muertos, is that a day where
you hear a baseball and a glove?
I was waiting for something like that.
That supposedly all the spirits come from the other side to visit. What is there truth to that?
Absolutely.
What do you know about that?
So there's two things. One's going to be cultural. One's going to be depends how you grew up and how you see that. So if you're very cultural, very connected with that, I would say one, that's a deep-rooted connection. Two, if that's a very unique thing in our work as mediumistics or mediums, is that there's what we call the veils thin, where it's easier for our loved ones to communicate. So if you really want to communicate with your loved ones and honor them, if they love like drinking milk, you put out a milk for them or their favorite dish or whatever it is. But there's a very strong
tarot in there,
right? Yeah, there's a very strong connection.
Why do sometimes it surprises me? Like I never believed in it. Kind of still don't. But I remember. Do you remember when we were in Columbus? And it was raining real loud, real hard. Mm-hmm. It was me and you and Mando. We were eating at that place that had trivia on the television.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and we met these two ladies from the Navy. One was a Dominican black lady, and the other was Latina. They were both sergeants.
Yes, and then we partied at the Blue Martini afterwards.
Yes, and then the black lady was into psychics, and she had a reading for me. Bro, let me tell you, I never did the reading, okay? But she was...
Do tell.
She was on point back then.
So you still remember?
Yeah. She said, you have a daughter out there. And I did. She goes, she's very little. She goes, she loves you. She goes, she knows you're out there, but she hasn't met you. She knows you're out there. She knows you're out there. She goes, she knows...
And you hadn't told anybody
No,
about
I didn't tell her shit. She don't know me.
Anybody else.
No, not even him.
Yeah.
Not even him. Because she knows you're out there. He goes, she's seeking for you. He goes, she loves you. And he goes, this girl's very strong, but te estima, te extraña, te quiere ver. He goes, necesito tu ayuda right now. But I don't know what was going on, but I didn't see my daughter 2 years later. But right now we're close, by the way.
That's awesome.
Well, I didn't know, but I never told her later. I'm thinking, these motherfuckers talking shit behind back.
Well, I think
You told her.
It must have been crazy. But it must have been strong because, she saw me at the show.
Again.
She loved the show. So she must have found a vibe, okay,
right, absolutely.
This guy's too funny or he's crazy, something about him, and I'm going to find out. But all she did was just touch my hand one time and she knew.
Yeah. Oftentimes,
Is that a wild guess?
Well, I don't think it's a wild guess. I think it's either someone's vibrating something very strongly about a person. So if you get that vibration, I will go up to someone and tell someone like, hey, this is what I'm picking up, this is what I'm getting. I don't do that now because there's
Don't
ethics.
touch me, I'm an American citizen.
Yeah. Well, because there's ethics, when you do this work. So you have to be careful. But there are people that will go up to someone and saying like, hey, I see this or I sense this or this is what you need to hear. And sometimes it's just that and they walk away. You never see them again because that information is something that you need to hear or it's going to help you evolve as a person or grow as a family together. And I think that's an amazing thing that happened for you. So believe it or not, I think it's a great experience that she had. That,
it was, man.
It's super cool because I always tell people.
Because back then, I still haven't met my daughter.
Well, you had only seen her at like
the baby.
2 years old?
Yeah,
1 year old?
Yeah.
And did you not have any connection?
None.
Wow. So I think there's some
from
sort of universal thing or synchronicity that was happening here for you in a very beautiful way that had to happen here.
And it was a storm, bro. We're by a tornado
There was
area.
a warning. There was a tornado warning.
Tornado area. Because we were scared because it started it was very windy. Then all of a sudden hail.
Oh, wow.
Then it got real bright. Then it started raining real hard. Then everybody was saying, "Nah, y'all better run."
It was extreme ass weather.
The rain was coming sideways.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
Now, when you heard, like when you started communicating,
Okay.
did it scare you?
Yes and no.
And seeing people standing next to somebody, like
That was more scary to me.
That was scary.
Because like my first experience, honestly, was my great grandfather. That was standing at the end of my bed. I was still living with my parents at the time, obviously, but I did not meet my great grandfather. I did not know what he looked like, but I remember telling my mom the next morning, I said, hey, there was this guy who told the experience. My mom, again, wasn't a big believer, very Catholic, and it was very awkward to talk about this. And I said, yeah, this guy had no arm. He didn't have any arms. He was missing his arms and this and that. Well, no. My great grandfather lost both arms. He was a W amputee and he lost both arms, and there's no way I would have known that, nor was it ever talked about. And so I described that, and I was talking about like his writing, and my grandfather had this most beautiful writing. He would write everything with his mouth, these letters and stuff like that. So,
really?
And so my mom ended up going to my grandparents or to her parents' house and started researching, going through all those, photos and things of that nature. I'm like,
Ay,
that's
Dios
him.
mío.
Yeah. And so my mom freaked out. But again, there's moments like that happen that do freak me out like that, because I shouldn't have known that.
I had a friend who died, and I watched him die. I was there during his passing. And he saw his grandfather that he hadn't seen in 25 years
Where
or
at?
so, at the end of his bed.
Right.
And he said he's standing right there.
Yeah, it's a normal thing.
And that was the house that his grandfather was in, and his grandmother, he wanted to die in his grandmother's house, but he said he's right there. And then, I don't know, 5 minutes later, he passed away.
Oftentimes, people on their deathbed, they will experience that. They will say they're going to see someone, or they're with someone, or they see certain loved ones that they haven't seen in many, many years or connect with. And I think it's a beautiful example, because they're there to greet them or transition them.
They said that when Sam Kinison died, the comedian, and by the drunk driver that hit him, they said that when they were talking to him, he was already out of it. He kept saying, "I'm not ready, I'm not ready." And then he smiled and said, "I'm ready," and then he's gone. And he was talking to somebody.
Oh, wow.
He goes, "I'm not ready, I'm not ready." Yeah. Then all of a sudden he said, "I'm ready."
Yeah.
And that was a Baptist minister before he was
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He must have said, "I'm sorry for all the fucked up shit he did at that moment," or something. Well, I'm just thinking of the Catholic,
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's something that we go through. Is it like a soul contract? We go through a soul contract or soul review, that we go through these issues, or we go through these things, and maybe there's things that he needed to make up or needed to fix or whatever, and he said, "I'm not ready," or maybe he had to make peace with himself before he transitioned. But the beautiful thing, oftentimes in certain reads I've done, when someone died tragically, a great example is Jenny Rivera. When she passed over, her body left the soul before impact. There's a perfect moment. People in 9/11.
How do you know that?
Just because there was a moment of not feeling that when you read for these people. They don't bring me the moment of impact. It's almost like their soul's gone. It's like a flash of them already out of that body. It's the best way to describe it, because typically I will talk about an event of a passing. So if someone was shot, I will actually feel that pressure or stabbing or whatever it is. But certain times when spirits don't talk about that, where they say their soul left or they left in that moment, it's kind of that oh shit moment for me, because I realized that years ago, and that's became kind of a reference when people died in a very tragic event, and it's their way of making that validation, showing that they did not suffer, they did not go through pain. So, and I think it's only to help us, the physical people, as well. So it's very interesting.
If you've ever watched somebody, I've watched several people die, because friends who died, but also I worked in a nursing home, and so I saw a lot of people die. But you can see the point at which their soul is gone. If it's one of those long deaths, or you're standing there witnessing it, at some point you realize, oh, that's not that person anymore. You feel it, you see it.
Oh yeah.
And so a quick death is what you're saying. The soul left already before the impact, before
they die, before the moment of death. And when that moment happens, it's a beautiful moment. I remember there's a couple clients that sent me photos over the years, old Polaroids, where they're taking photos with their loved ones, and their last moment, if they're dying of cancer or whatever, they're on the bed and the family's there, and certain photos show a body right above, or this gold white light right above the body, as a soul body is right above that, leaving that. So for me, it's kind of evidence. I can't say it's evidence as a scientific point, but it's evidence for me as a spiritualist to believe that there's something more than this physical body, because I do believe that we evolve and grow after this. I don't think we're just dead in the ground. I don't think that we're this is just our physical realm, because I think this is just our high school. When we transition, we go to college and we learn, we grow, evolve, and learn the lessons that we needed to fix. So if someone was a murderer and or someone that took their own lives, they still have to take those problems with them physically to the other side, because they did not learn from those. So there's some sort of karmatic debt they had to go through as well.
That's a heavy statement.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a very, very loaded statement. To say that we're taking baggage to the other side is freaking, because you would figure once you're done, you're resting.
Yep.
I think that's why a lot of them stir, right? A lot of the souls that stir. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, what happened to Chucky, right? The guy put the spirit into Chucky, and then Chucky became
But yes,
it's all energy. I know it sounds fucking ridiculous.
But it's the energy that hasn't had something resolved.
That's why even some of those, when little kids are little and they talk like an adult already, they say a bunch of crazy stuff. It's like a soul entered that little body.
Yeah, for sure.
So they've been here before.
Oh, absolutely. It's old.
My friend has the shine.
Right? No, for sure. No, you're absolutely correct. And I think if we kind of open and receptive to that, it's the same thing. But again, it's just it's a heavy statement to say, but it's over the years what I've learned over the years.
When you were a little kid, do you remember those Time Life books? A woman feels
50 miles away.
50 miles away.
Feels a pain
Feel
in
the
her
pain in
hand.
his arm.
Yeah.
At that moment,
Right.
The exact
her
same
mother,
moment.
her daughter
daughter.
Jess escaped a fire.
Yeah,
Right.
or
Well,
decided not to get on a plane.
Decided not to get on a plane.
Right.
Coincidence?
Right.
David Spade had the best joke,
Yeah,
man.
it was a funny joke.
A woman feels a sharp pain while doing dishes. 10 miles away, her daughter's giving her boyfriend a hand job. How about these critics, bro? Like the people who don't believe. Like right here we have Milkman. That you ask people, some psychics, you know, the false ones, bro. They're out there.
For sure.
They ask certain questions, and they get people, you know, like for example, we're talking.
Likes to go in fresh.
Like
no
example,
question.
before television, before radio, before all that. You know, how many people were traveling, bro? Like, because everybody could make money. If you had a horse and carriage, you have a circus.
Right.
You could entertain, you know.
Right.
You show up
With a crystal ball.
and then
Right.
I heard that these people will show up ahead of time and start to get to know the people, and then they'll send back and give them notes. But that's back then.
Oh, for sure.
But you just show up, huh?
Yeah, I just show up. I show up either like 10 minutes before an event or like right beforehand.
There's no one helping you out.
No one helping me out. We do have like
comedians, bro. They walk up to like we're doing like a corporate gig. They go, "Hey, bro, make fun of Sam. He's over there.
no.
He's a fireman. His wife left him. He had gonorrhea 2 times. That's something you can make funny.
Absolutely.
You make fun of him. They tell you, they're like, bro, you know, all that shit's fucked up.
No, but you know that is something that's still very common, that people still feel that it's still happening to this day. Like they go, oh, these people are planted in the audience, or they tell people what to say. I mean, there's many mediums.
Like the Manhattan medium, bro. I think people believe it because of her hair.
Long Island medium.
The Long Island medium.
She's got big brain in there.
Yeah, and you know
She had that hair like Sally from Charlie Brown.
same thing. You know, all these medium, go under fire because of people's belief or skepticism. And you know, James Randi was
A little boy too, a little white boy now.
Tyler Henry,
Henry.
Hollywood medium. Yeah. So, you know, you have all these people, and people are always going to criticize. And for me, like, you know, when I read for people that are in entertainment, sometimes, you know, I don't really know who they are because either like I don't know the background or whatever. And there's people that I'm like, I feel like that I know too much about them and I won't read them because like it's too much. So I don't really want to be like a celebrity medium, but I've been fortunate to read for a lot of musicians and a lot of people, and that's how a lot of things happen with me because,
Bro,
you know.
Have you ever fucking took mushrooms and did a reading?
No. Drinking and doing readings, yes.
Oh my God, bro, that's a movie right there, dog.
Yeah, because a lot of people
You
back in the
meditate,
day-
you go deep, bro.
Oh, for sure.
I have a question about meditation. Because you
Yeah.
say you went deep, right? When you meditate and you go
yeah.
in. I had a when I was in rehab, there was a guy named Jesus Quintana. His name was Chewy. He said he was in Folsom for like 15 years.
Okay.
Got out for 60 days and then did another 10 straight.
wow.
But he told me that the second time he went in there, he said he had a better time in those 10 years because he started meditating. He said he got so deep. He said that he left the prison for a month
Oh,
and then came back.
astral projection.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, out of body experience.
Yeah.
He's like
out of body.
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you
Yeah.
like be at a
2 places at one
so
time.
institutionalized that you're just a robot now?
Yes and no. I think meditation is one of those abilities that we
He
all can
was
focus
deep,
on.
bro.
Yeah, it's well, you got to think. You're centering yourself. You're closing your mind. You're
He said he
kind of
committed 2 more
detaching.
robberies, came back.
Well, and that's funny.
So he told me his sister needed money, bro. He
That's
said he went and dug
funny
out a
as
gun out of his
fuck.
backyard and gave her money.
Yeah,
The
no,
voice didn't say that. That's
There
why
are
you got in here the first
Well,
time.
that guy Primo Levi wrote a book. He was an Italian Holocaust survivor who wrote a book of his experience. And in the camps, he talked about doing that as a survival mechanism. He didn't call it astral projection, but he was meditating to imagine himself somewhere
back
else,
at that place.
outside of where they were. And that's the only thing that kept him going.
Yeah, because we have to do that in certain points in our lives when things are so bad. We kind of focus on the positive. It's like, you know, what's the law of attraction? You know, The Secret is a great, you know, book about it that talks about it, you know, that shares about the movie. But it's been around for years and people have been doing it for years, but not many people are receptive or understand the process of how it all works. But if we kind of can get back to that point and really kind of detach and hear from those moments, we realize that there's something more out there, you know, so it's super cool.
When is your next show when you're going to be doing this?
You know, I actually did my last show last week. So I did my last show last week. It was sold out, but I'm going to start launching my tour in January. And, you know, people can find that on my website at ajbarrera.com or social media, any of that stuff.
Say slower, AJ Barrera.
Yeah, ajbarrera.com. But that's how things happen. But I do like 2 shows a month, and, you know, they're smaller or large events, but it's really interesting. Yeah.
Do people ever like, who are like, not desperate, but you know they're hurt or they need like closure? Do they ever call you
Oh yeah.
And you go to their pad and you talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, I have to.
Do they feel thankful afterwards?
For sure. I mean, like I don't do house calls, but I
That's
do
crazy.
have
Dr. Death is here.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but I do have 2 offices.
Doctor will talk to your dad now.
Right, but people do come for a reading, and that could be from losing a child, a close, sibling or a mother or father, and they walk away having that peace and healing. And I don't think we ever really get closure to things, because I think closure is that we're ending a chapter, we're ending something. So I do believe we get healing, what we evolve from that experience, and oftentimes people will realize that.
You know what I'd like to see, bro? You talk to Rosie O'Donnell. I know Rosie O'Donnell. She was on Howard Stern, and she talked about her story. She talked about how when her mom died, they just kept it from her because she was too little. So they just hid it from her. They never told her. So she never got that closure. She never got to her mom. She to this day hates her probably half of their family for not doing that. Yeah. So she never got that, man. I wonder, I don't know if she believes it, but if you ever could talk to her, bro, maybe you could help her talk to her mom.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's something that's fucked up to do to a kid, right? Because she know that they never told her my mom is sick. They didn't tell her shit,
and then
bro.
She just died.
How would you take that?
I fucking don't know.
But
that's traumatic.
But that's traumatic, right?
Yeah. It's too emotional.
This happened also to the to David
Carradine. Yeah, actually read for his wife. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you know their story, right? How the dad kept the mom from them.
Yeah, I can't say too. My wife's like, I can't say too much about it. But
we were on Howard. He said it on Howard Stern.
Yeah.
I don't know. John Carradine said it on Howard Stern, right?
No, Robert.
Robert Carradine.
Robert was not.
Yeah.
He talked about how the dad kept the mom from them.
The guy from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
There was a lot around that.
Yeah.
A lot of craziness around that.
Let me ask you this. What about the Ouija board?
Okay.
Is that that's how people also communicate?
Ouija.
Yeah. So that's how people communicate.
I should use that. I definitely gotta use that one.
Luigi.
So
that's
people
funny.
communicate with the dead.
That would have been a good callback for Casares,
That
bro.
is hilarious. That is hilarious.
I'm sorry, Martin. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. So so is that a stand-in for a medium?
Yeah. I mean, you have to think about like spirituality movement, spiritual movement that happened in the 1800s, the early 1800s.
That's when the Ouija board came around, right?
The Fox sisters, the raps and taps and all that stuff.
Who came up with that? Gypsies?
There was actually 3. I can't say specifically 3 sisters, but 3 sisters. The Fox sisters were the one that created it.
Catholic?
I don't know if they were Catholic, but they started a spiritual movement. So there were it was about 3 young girls who actually started messing with a Ouija board, and they would have knocks and bangs and things would move, and they would actually demonstrate the work in front of crowds for 1,500 people, 2,000 people back then. What you were talking about, people would.
Those were not from Milton Bradley, right?
No.
Or Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers, actually. Yes.
We have one in our
I do have one too.
Lakeside.
Yeah. Back from the 80s. I think I have one. Mine's from 1984, actually. Yeah, 1984. So I think in some ways people like to use it as a tool. I do believe a Ouija board is a tool. It has a bad rap because of the background of what you see in movies, things of that nature. But if you use it and open and close it the right way, it can be a tool. I really don't mess with it unless people wanted to demonstrate physical mediumship, which is a whole nother level where they actually produce physical, where they allow channeling to happen and spirit steps in and they actually start channeling different loved ones and spirits in a whole nother level, which is a whole nother subject in itself.
Has a spirit ever showed up and started moving shit around, like telekinesis type stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
You've seen that?
In my own house, yeah.
Stop fucking around, AJ.
Yeah. even my parents, again, they're not big believers in this work, but my parents, they would always say, take your friends with you, because every time I go to someone's house, I would go to, I would go people that would come over to my house, and I think Momo has a great story. I mean, maybe he may
take that one,
bro. The best story he had, bro, when he was at Willie's house, and he said,
Momo?
He told Willie, "Hey, bro, your house, the thing is haunted, bro." And Willie said, "Get the fuck out." Get the fuck out of my house, you fat ass.
Get your fat ass out of my house.
And he had to walk home, bro. No ghosts wanted to carry him that home.
Rick Naheda was there again, didn't give him a ride.
What's Momo's story?
Yes. So, a couple stories.
We snuck in?
Yeah, we used to do investigation back in the days. We would investigate the Alexandria Hotel, and I remember one time we saw the spirit, walking, and we both saw this little girl. I'm like, is he seeing what I'm seeing? And the little girl actually died in the elevator shaft. We did not know that until afterwards, but that was one moment. But I remember Momo was at the house, and he goes, "Hey, do you see that black dog? Or do you have a black dog here?" I'm like, "No," but everyone that came to our house would always see this big black dog walking around. And at night, people would actually hear click, 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 walking on our hardwood floors, and people would shit their pants, and so people would not want to stay the night, wouldn't want to come over. But I truly live in a haunted house.
Dog spirits are running around.
Oh, absolutely.
Spirits?
A great example was I remember reading
for one of his toy.
Well, I remember I was reading for a lady in Virginia Beach, I think 2 years ago, and I kept on seeing Michael Jackson's Monkey Bubbles, and I'm like, why am I seeing bubbles? Why am I seeing this? What's the reference? And I'm like, trying to interpret it. I'm like, did someone lose a monkey? And everyone in the audience is like laughing. They're like, this is hilarious. And this lady, she goes like, I just lost my Capuchin
monkey.
Yeah, she just lost her monkey about like a couple months ago. Yeah, lost her monkey about like a couple months. Yeah, so it's interesting. So animals do come through. It shows their love. But out of all things, like you would not expect like a monkey to come through. But I always tell people like animals have unconditional love. They'll come through and validate those messages because they're your fur baby. There's a personal connection. But I love when animals come through because there is a personal connection that does come through here. Yeah.
So.
Talk to my hamster.
Yeah. Chucky.
So what are you? So are you? Do you see? Does anything jump out at you with any of us around here?
Well, there's two things that I feel like, and I don't know if you guys are open to it or if you guys want to ask questions.
We're all open to it, right?
What?
You don't have to believe it, but just open to it.
I asked him if he sees anything around us.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know if I'm with either one of you guys, but I definitely feel like I have an older gentleman that is stepping forward here. I'd actually link this as actually being more of like an uncle figure rather than like a grandfather figure that is passed over. There's also a reference that I do need to either bring up for you guys, either like Robert or Raymond or something like that is connected here, that is passed over. So is that connected to either one of you guys here?
Not
a Raymond or a Robert, but an uncle maybe. Yeah.
Would he be like a father figure towards you though?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to acknowledge this if that is the case, but there's also going to be like a Robert or like Robert, Roger. There's going to be the R name that is connected here that either still living or passed over, meaning if they're still living, he wants to say hello to that person. If they're passed over, that's who he's with on the other side as well. I feel like when he comes through, his passing to me doesn't feel like it's a quick passing at all whatsoever. It feels actually very lengthy when he comes through, because when he does talk about his passing, he's making it feel like that he's slowly deteriorating in some essence that he's bringing up here. And there's also a simplicity with him that I feel like as if I just like either one took my last breath, or either there was either like some sort of quick like emphysema thing that may have happened here with him when he talks about this. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, just make note to what I'm bringing up here. If that's not for you, then I'm.
Yeah, it could probably be for Martin. That's
but
what
I'm definitely with one of you guys that is connected here. Just for my film reference, because again, I feel like there's two energies, two male figures that are coming through. Would there also be like either like Joseph or like John or Jonathan that's connected here, that's passed over?
This is Dad, Johnny.
Okay, is he passed over?
Yeah.
Okay, would also the month of December
And he smoked too.
Would the month of December be connected to you
That's
or
his
Tim?
birthday month.
Okay, so this would be your dad's way coming forward then. So I need to acknowledge. Do you mind?
Well, that fool was over here.
Okay, so here's the thing. Do you guys know each other, or are you guys connected at all whatsoever?
No.
I mean, we know each other.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I feel like these two male figures are coming together. So again, if that doesn't resonate with you, I feel like the either Robert, the Roger, the R name is also connected to you or to who your dad's with on the other side. I don't want you to think about it too much, but just hold on to it, because there'll be that moment that you're like, oh my God, that's what it is. The thing with your dad, when he comes through, he's making it feel like it's important to talk about the family and talk about the kids, but I feel like it's more so related to you or to the kids, because your dad, in a very heavy heart, he's apologizing verbally and physically, and he wants to embrace you and saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's not that he was a bad guy, but I feel like either he was geologically away from you, or either he couldn't be around you as often, if that makes any sense. Okay, I feel like when he comes forward here, he's identifying with you that he's like living what he always wanted to do in his own personal life, because his passing doesn't feel like as if like I passed with a heart attack. It doesn't feel like that at all.
No.
But your dad, don't tell me, but I feel like when your dad comes through, there's a reference with him that makes me feel like as if like I still died young. So I don't feel like he died in his 80s or 90s. I still feel fairly young with your father when he comes through. And he's also making me feel like to acknowledge either, again, who he's with, or who he wants to acknowledge here. But would there be a Danny or David connected here, either still living or passed?
Dave is my son, my brother, his son.
Can you say hello to him and let him know that he acknowledges him? Because I feel like it's important to validate him and validate that love around you guys. Do you mind if I do this? Are you okay? I really feel like that
I'm surprised.
I really
surprised.
So the reason why I think you're surprised is that maybe perhaps you did not expect him to come through, or maybe there wasn't, again, a personal connection around that. But I feel like your dad needs to come through to validate that love and validate that connection with you in a very beautiful way. Your dad's also bringing up my birth month, which is the month of April. So why is April connected here as well?
Well, he died in April.
Okay, that's all I need to know. So
Yeah.
this would be his way then validating you and validating that love to you in an amazing way. The thing with your dad, though, is that there's a unique reference here. Is that what he was a J name, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I need to acknowledge then, I don't feel like that when I bring up dad. It feels different, though. So here's the thing. I don't know if there's also another Jimmy or
The
James.
J name? Who's alive?
Yeah,
or?
who's still living, like a Jimmy or James.
My
That's-
brother is Johnny
okay.
as well.
So,
I don't
really?
know if- yeah.
I don't think that's
Jimmy
it.
Storin.
So, no.
Well, James is my half brother. My
Okay.
dad's other son.
So,
yes.
do you have any connection with him at all whatsoever?
Only on social media a little bit.
Can you please let him know specifically that he wants to thank him? Because I feel like they spent a lot of time together,
They
or maybe
did.
perhaps he took care of him at the moment of his passing.
He got, yeah.
Okay, because I feel like it's important to him to recognize that connection. I'm still with my son. The thing with your dad, though, is that he's coming through as a person that wants to be funny. He wants to come through with a big smile, and he wants you to smile, wants you to be happy. But I really believe it's because of what we talked about earlier, how you need to evolve and grow from this. Because I feel like there's a lot of, I won't say baggage, but there's a heavy energy that's around you still that you haven't emotionally detached or grieved through. Because you're well aware that your dad passed over,
Yeah.
but you haven't gone through that grieving process of truly letting him go. And I think this is why he's coming through, to validate that experience. There's also a reference that I may misinterpret this here. And again, I don't mind being wrong, but is there any reason why your dad would actually bring up, like, say, his property, his land? Like, did he own a lot of land in some ways?
He had a farm, but he didn't own it. They had to sell it back to the bank,
Okay.
basically.
So
after he died.
So I need to acknowledge that if that is an issue that may have happened here at this moment, it might just be his way identifying that for you guys, saying like, don't worry about that, like dust your hands
Yeah.
clean. So if that was an
That's
issue.
probably for James.
Okay, please get that message to him, or please validate that. Again, he may not be a big believer, he may not be open to this,
Yeah.
but I believe it's important why he's recognizing you, courtesy of the older figure that he comes through. The weird thing, when your dad comes through, there's a reference that I feel like I need to bring up here, and I may misinterpret this, but again, I'm just going to give it to you. Was he, and I don't want to sound so cliche when I say this, but I do want to say it, did he actually do some sort of unique, like, say, even though he had a farm, there's something about him like doing like engineering, contracting, construction work. There's something about that I feel like as if I'm out in the field doing this type of work.
Yeah,
in
he's
some
a construction worker.
Okay. I feel like that your dad is still working, but he's retiring still on the side and doing what he needs to do. And I think this is his way of validating that love in a very beautiful way. Can I be very personal here?
Yeah.
The thing when your dad comes through, again, he comes through with a heavy heart. And I feel like it's something that both of you guys need to understand and make up and make an agreement with, because I feel like whatever may have happened here, I feel like your dad's saying, like, excuse my language, but he fucked up. I feel like as if he did not have enough time of spending with you, the family, the kids, and things of that nature. And it feels like it's his way of identifying that. Mom is still living, though, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that a little too personal, or can
No,
you share that? Or
I can share it.
Okay, what happened in that moment? Were you not around Dad, or what was that situation?
My dad left us when I was 8, but it's because of my mom. She was abusive.
Okay.
And so he started another family years later, which is James and my half-sister as well. But I just recently met them when he died, 2 years ago. But
Okay.
but I forgave him for leaving because I know now why he left. But also he didn't have a lot of time to parent us. He was a great father to the other kids, and I discovered that after I met them, that he actually was a great father, and he just never got a chance with us.
I think this is why he's saying he effed up. He apologizes for this because he couldn't be in your life and do that fatherly role in a very beautiful way. And I feel like with your dad's energy with the kids or your step siblings or whatnot, I feel like it's important to recognize them and bridge that connection any way you can. So if it's phone call, text, social media, whatever you use to make that connection, build that connection. And I feel like it's important to recognize mom in that situation, knowing that I don't know if she understands what she may cause or what she may have done in that process, but I just feel like it's something that he wants yeah, it's just something that I feel like your dad wants to recognize that for you. The funny thing with your dad, though, is that I do want to say two things. One, your dad is very humorous when he comes through. So again, there's a sense of humor that he wants to validate with you, but he comes through as someone being very young and very attractive. So he still wants to let you know that he still looks good, as if he still has his hair slicked back. So I don't get a person that has like crazy curly wavy hair. I feel like it's his way of validating that for you. And 2, there had been something very unexpected that happened here with your dad, as if, say for instance, your dad went in for, like, say, I don't know, cardiovascular for heart problems, and all of a sudden he found out that he had prostate cancer. I feel like it was a very sudden illness that happened here that he talks about here.
He had liver cancer, but he never went to the doctor, so he didn't find out until he was terminal.
Okay.
He didn't find out until he was terminal, and he only had like a month to live.
Okay.
So.
It just feels very quick, very sudden how this happened, because he's making me feel like whatever happened here medical-wise, I don't feel like I was able to get that, obviously, that medical attention.
But you said it was like heavy, like here, right? Like,
yeah. But it's more so, I think there's 2 things that I feel like with your dad, though. One's on an emotional level that he gives to you, because something that needs to happen here. And the other energies wants to validate more so maybe his condition of how things happened here. But the thing with your dad, it feels very, very prominent the way he comes through. But there's a way with him as if he's still, in a way, I don't want to say farming because you said farming, but I'm just going to use the word farming, that he'd love what he loved to do, basically, because I really believe that could have been a passion, or maybe that could have been something that was just a work, a livelihood.
He really wanted the farm.
Okay. Just know that he still is doing the farm work basically on the side. Again, for the information that may not make sense here, it may be, again, his contemporary, but there is like a Robert, there is a Raymond, there is that connection that is passed over, and I would see this as then being your dad's brother figure, basically, because if he's coming through as an uncle figure to you guys, I would see him as basically your dad's figure, because they come through to me as brothers, not as like a grandfather or father and son, but there's that vibration, but it's on your dad's side, not mom's side. And I feel like there's also a reference that I do want to bring up here. Would either like the 30th or the 31st of a month be significant to you?
Well, the 30th of December is his birthday.
Okay, yeah. So I just know then the brother figure goes to you. So just make note of it. If it doesn't resonate with you, make note of it, because I feel like it's his way, who he's with. Could have been his brother, a very close friend, his cousin, but it feels it's immediate. So I don't feel like it's going to be a distant relative, a distant cousin, but I feel like it's important. And 2, there is some sort of emphysema or some sort of filling up with fluids thing that is connected with this male as well when he brings this up here. So if it doesn't resonate now, just make note to it, okay? You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy, huh?
That's crazy.
What's up, fool?
Bro, you just started going. Like when you started going,
You were on a roll.
You were on a roll, and it's like it's not like you were thinking of it.
No,
It's really
it's
interesting
thoughts.
when that just happens. You were on a flow. It's not like you were just going.
Absolutely.
You're not in control of what you're
Does
saying.
November have 30 days?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know if it's the 30th or 31st.
Just asking, do they have 30 days?
I think so.
30
November?
Yeah.
When did you have a miscarriage last year?
A little bit before then.
Yeah, because if that is the case, that could be its vibration coming through saying it's around you. It may be that, but if it's not that, again, usually I'm pretty good with dates of how they come through.
The emphysema thing, though, but Bill died, remember, after...
Bill died, that's right.
Bill died.
Okay.
Bill was
William.
his wife's... Bill was
That's his
his
brother-in-law.
sister's brother, his sister's husband.
On your dad's
He
side?
died. On my dad's sister's husband.
Okay, that's all I need to know. So it
Yeah.
might be his way stepping forward, but
And
again...
he smoked all the time, but he had a sudden heart attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that might be his way coming through, courtesy of these guys. Again, I honestly thought, again, I don't mind being wrong, but I actually thought I was with them. But if it was these 2 males coming together, they come together as, again, brothers, basically how they come through. So if that's the brother-in-law, yeah.
of him.
So it would just be their way coming
But
through.
he took care of him. He basically helped him buy the farm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one reason why they would come together, because
Yeah.
there's a personal connection. There is that
Yeah.
relationship. And just one last thing, is there also like a Sharon, Shirley, or the S name that's connected here, still living, that we need to acknowledge here?
Well, my mother is Sandy, not Sherry. No, I'm trying to think of his sister.
Well, it would make sense for me, but here's the thing.
She drank sherry.
It feels
Charlene Manson.
I know you mentioned that they separated at some point, or they did not talk, or whatever that relationship is. Was she not still involved with the husband or with your dad at all, like towards the end of his passing?
Oh yeah, they hadn't seen each other
Okay,
ever
that's all I need to
since he left. No.
I just feel like he wants to acknowledge her. It's not saying I love you, I miss you, but just acknowledging her. And that's all I want to say, because I don't want to say like, oh, he loves mom and he wants to give the love to his wife or whatever. But I feel like it's his way of identifying that for you.
No, there was a lot of fear.
Fear around that? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
He was basically didn't ever want to see her again. And
your dad, honestly, in a way, wants to really say, I love you. He wants to give that to you, because I feel like verbally he couldn't say that to you. I feel like verbally he wants to say, I love you, and give that love to you in a very beautiful way.
Yeah, man.
Okay?
thank you.
Yeah.
What's up, fool? Well, Martin Moreno right here, bro.
Do me now, eh?
He was trying to, raza.
Yeah, and so
I see a guy in a gray suit dying. The Sheraton resonate with you, Sheraton?
It's time to go to work. Bro, the only time I put on a fucking suit to perform, I bombed a miserable death. I don't want to talk to that motherfucker right now.
Let me tell you, bro. You know what made it crazy? No one else was dressed up but you.
No, I was the only dummy.
Gilbert Escobar's ghetto-ass crowd, bro, on San Pedro.
oh God.
You're awesome, bro. You're amazing.
No, that was good.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, I think for you guys too, I think you guys are open and receptive, and either if you guys are believers or not, I just want to thank you guys, and I respect you guys for allowing me to be here. And
You're a badass, dog.
Honestly, because like
You're going to yo now.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
No,
I'd love to have you.
It's super cool because I think
You're awesome,
you guys.
man.
Yeah, I think you guys just
Even
have a
the
great
guy,
energy.
you may believe it or the non-believers, bro. they said.
I'm not even watching
Some
that.
of the guys said that, you know, whether I believe it or not, I like to see that at least I got a little closure.
Yeah.
And then,
And
the
listen,
other guy said, you know, I'm gonna look for a medium, but I'm a large.
and here's the other thing is that everybody listening might not be into it, but the fact that it doesn't matter. The message wasn't for them, and it obviously resonated with Lisa. Like she felt that wasn't you weren't talking to anybody but her, and that's the important part. Is that
what's funny is go ahead, sorry.
And so that's what's like important. There might be haters, there might be this, there might be that.
Right.
Fuck them. It doesn't matter. The communication happened, and you can't take away what I just saw right now. That was real as fuck.
What's odd is that when you were saying stuff over here about somebody over here, I started thinking, oh no, what if my dad shows up?
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
Even thinking about your dad, so
I was afraid. I was kind of relieved that he was on them, and then it started to be my dad coming through.
Well, I think it's important because, again, whatever happened here, whatever your personal story is, I think it's important for you to recognize what, not from me, but what your dad needed to say and how he needed to come through to validate you, the family, the kids, all that stuff. Because
There's
again,
a lot of stuff in there. James kept coming. It's like Johnny. He's like, no, not Johnny, your brother. It's another person. But my half brother. Yeah,
and I think that's why. Because obviously because there is a personal connection, which you validated that he lived with him or raised him or whatever that is.
He went to live with him in Kentucky when he was dying.
So there's a personal connection. But I think you just said it perfectly. Like you know, people are gonna hate. They're gonna discredit. They're gonna find something wrong or I don't believe in it. And I'm okay with that because my job is not to make anyone a believer. I'm not here to kind of make things right. But whatever happens in the moment is supposed to happen for that individual. If it's for you guys or if it's for Felipe or for
the
you.
Energy, man.
Like it's the energy. And again, you said it earlier. It's like, you know, are you wrong or can you be wrong? And again, I'll be first to admit I can and will be wrong, but I will deliver the information that does come through. But I'm very blessed that you guys allow me to be here and you guys are open and receptive to this whole process here.
Yeah, man.
Right back at you,
What's
bro.
up, fool? Tell us again, people, when your tour starts.
Yeah, I will start in January. They can find all the information at ajbarrera.com on my website under the events page, or they can sign up for my newsletter. They get monthly events. Or monthly
What's your Instagram?
Instagram is AJ_Barrera, and they can find me all there as well.
All right, man. Thank you,
Awesome,
man.
guys. Thank you so much.
Martin Moreno.
MartinMoreno.com. Catch me Morris Plains, New Jersey in January, and in Iowa for New Year's, and Chicago for the 2nd of freaking January, dude. It's 2020 already, dude.
Bro,
So
you want to
it's
hear something nuts? Something crazy. That fool was talking about Bill, and then Bill Burr just came in through the door.
Nice.
What's next?
Bro.
Right. What's next for the show?
What's next? What's up, fool? Thank you very much, everybody who came out to the show tonight, who listened to the podcast, who came out to the Spanish show last night. I'll see you guys in Napa and Seattle this weekend. Don't forget to look out for Martin Moreno, Lisa right here with a psychic reading. The homie right here, dog. What up, fool? Tell us again your Instagram.
AJ_Barrera.
And Rodrigo Torres, man. The Yeah Man podcast still going on.
Yeah, and Los Podcasters del Norte in Spanish. With
Oh, that's right. I got to do that one.
this weekend.